Coming up on UCF Nightly News, the people of Las Vegas are still mourning after the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. How the Orlando community is offering support just 1 year after facing tragedy here at home.
Plus, find out about the heartwarming efforts that brought a terminally ill patient safely from Puerto Rico. More on how the family was able to bring her to the Sunshine State.
Also ahead, Halloween Horror Nights returns to Universal Studios. We introduce you to one of the creative minds behind the scary scenes.
And in sports, UCF football is ranked. Find out what spot our Knights hold in the latest AP poll.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Chris Hargrove.
And I'm Tiffany Thompson. Today is Friday, October 6th, 2017. Las Vegas residents continue to process what happened Sunday night. The Orlando community sprung into action to show their support for the victims. Nightly News reporter Hakeem Dixon shows us how Orlando and the One Orlando Alliance are coming together for Las Vegas.
Orlando understands tragedy. Just 18 months ago, the city was home to the largest mass shooting in U.S. history. Now, that title belongs to Las Vegas. Poll survivor Norman Casiano is still recovering from his injuries from that tragic night, but he says that won't stop him or Orlando from providing their support.
I just hope that it shows that you can't stop this from happening. You can't stop togetherness, of equality of races, sexualities, no matter what. You can't stop it.
Just 48 hours after the Las Vegas shooting, Orlando One sprang into action, holding a vigil at the Dr. Phillips Center. Former Pulse employee Anna Kai says reaching out to Vegas in their time of need is important, especially after so many reached out to Orlando in our time of need.
I'm just trying to bring out a positive message and then just trying to say that to everybody that love and support is definitely what's going to help these people. It's what helped us.
Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer also came out to the event. He encouraged the people of Orlando to provide a shoulder for Las Vegas to lean on.
I want the citizens of Orlando to reach out and support those that are in need across the country.
Orlando One Alliance is planning a trip to Las Vegas in the next couple of weeks. They say they want to support any way they can, even if it's a hug or words of encouragement. In Orlando, Hakeem Dixon, UCF Nightly News.
Mayor Dyer says he's been in contact with Mayor Oscar Goodman from Las Vegas. The mayor sent assistance crews and says he plans to send any other help the city may need.
The investigation continues after a man opened fire on a music festival in Las Vegas. The attack is now the largest mass shooting in modern American history. Stephen Paddock killed 58 people who attended the concert across from the Mandalay Bay Hotel. More than 400 people were injured. The Las Vegas Police Department says Paddock took his own life before the police could arrive at his hotel room. Officials say Paddock had 23 weapons and over 50 pounds of explosives in his room.
Tragedy struck again more than a year since the Pulse Massacre hit home in Orlando. The Orlando community is coming together once again. I spoke with local One Blood members to find out how the Orlando community is helping the victims.
Yeah, One Blood sent several units of blood over to Las Vegas immediately to respond to the shooting there.
One Blood officials say it is important for people to not only donate during a crisis, but to donate regularly. Jim Nixon is a UCF alumnus, and he agrees.
Well, because if we keep having these tragedies like that, it takes a lot of blood from the supply. So I'm sure that they really need people to get out and start donating to fill it back up.
Nixon says he feels people should donate because at some point they may need help or know someone who does.
Michaels says 100 units of blood have gone to Las Vegas to help the victims so far.
Michaels also says blood centers cannot store blood and the average donation will be given to a person in need within 5 days. He says reasons like the tragedy in Las Vegas are why it is important to have a continuous supply handy. Michaels also says it is important to remember that blood is not only needed right after a tragedy happens, but months later as well.
Michaels says blood that is donated to the center is generally given to local hospitals unless tragedy strikes and it is needed elsewhere. He says to visit a One Blood location near you for more information.
American Red Cross officials say feeling faint or fatigued from donating blood is uncommon, but it can happen. One Blood officials say it is important to eat a meal before donating. The officials also say to make sure you eat iron-rich foods days before donating and to not go to the center on an empty stomach.
A reintroduced bill proposes a statewide ban on assault weapons in Florida. This would make the sale or purchase of weapons like the one used in the Pulse nightclub shooting illegal. Nightly News reporter Dianelis Fuentes tells us how Florida lawmakers are pushing for this bill to make it to the polls.
Senator Linda Stewart and Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith, along with the Florida Coalition to Prevent Gun Violence, unveiled a gun reform this week. Representative Smith says this is the way to honor those who lost their lives in mass shootings.
And we're going to honor them with bold, unapologetic action that once and for all will begin to address the public health crisis of gun violence in this state and in this country.
Florida has no law restricting the sale or purchase of assault weapons or how many can be owned. Paul's survival angel Santiago came to show his support for the bill. He says America shouldn't wait any longer for stricter gun laws.
We cannot continue to stand by and do nothing as our friends, our family, our children are continuing to be murdered. We cannot accept mass shootings as a new norm in our country.
Santiago also urged the public to contact their elected officials to support this bill. In Orlando, Dianelis Fuentes, UCF Nightly News.
The Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence reports 7 states in the District of Columbia already regulate assault weapons. The states include California, Connecticut, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, New York, and New Jersey.
It's been raining pretty much all week. Are we going to catch a break this time? A break anytime soon, Dianelis?
Unfortunately, no, Chris. There's a lot of rain in the forecast, so keep those umbrellas close. Now let's take a look at the current conditions. It's around 75 degrees right now with a 40% chance of rain. We have a 100% humidity with northeast winds at 5 miles per hour. The rest of the day will be mostly cloudy with a high near 90 and a low around 76. And as for Tropical Depression Nate, it's heading toward the U.S. northern Gulf Coast this weekend. I have more on that later on in the show. Back to you guys.
Coming up after the break, more on what the Orlando community is doing for Puerto Rico.
Plus, how one professor was able to help her family member on the island. Also on Nightly News, how the UCF football team cracked the top 25 in college football rankings.
One family is reunited after Hurricane Maria impacted Puerto Rico. Here at UCF, one professor's concern was her family's safety. Nightly News reporter Crystal Ruiz tells us how the professor was able to save her aunt's life.
After Hurricane Maria, Donna Mercado took a chance to get her aunt to Florida.
She is a cancer patient, and it was the 8th day where she didn't have any electricity, any water.
Nervous, the UCF lead professor says she texted a woman with the Caribbean Resilience System.
And I said, my name is, Donna Mercado. My aunt is in Puerto Rico. She's a cancer patient. Can we bring her to Orlando? And she responded to me right away, and she said, of course we can.
Mercado's sister, Lillian Ramos, is now taking care of their aunt Iris Garcia in Gainesville. She arrived at Miami International Airport Sunday. Ramos says she is opening her home to her aunt, but would do the same for anyone in need, because that's what her late mother would have done.
When Donna called me and told me that there was this possibility, the first thing that came to my mind was, Mommy, I know this is what you want, and then this is what we're going to do.
Even though Garcia is safe in Florida, Mercado continues to help those on the island.
As Puerto Rican, I feel obligated to always, keep in mind the people of Puerto Rico, in Puerto Rico and abroad.
Ramos says her aunt is homesick, but she is doing better. In Orlando, Crystal Ruiz, UCF Nightly News.
Mercado says the goal is to show how UCF can help the community. She will be sending the supplies collected to Puerto Rico on Saturday.
Many others like Mercado are collecting supplies, but they're struggling with how to get them to the island. Transportation to and from the island is limited. Puerto Rico are canceled and people looking to help are running out of options. FHP Trooper Stephen Montegro says he sees how the tragedy is impacting Central Floridians more than 1,000 miles from the island. And even those from other states are coming together to help.
It touches, I think, everybody on the south part of the United States, whether you're in Texas, whether you're in the state of Florida, you've got family there.
Even he has family still on the island. That's why he says he's making sure those collected supplies and other efforts don't go to waste. Monty Arrow is using his social media platform to round up the supplies and, with the help of a friend who owns a plane, deliver them to the island. He says a couple trips are scheduled throughout the next month. It's been a rough start to the week, but we're hoping to bring some positivity to your day. It was great seeing some stories that can make us laugh and put a smile on our faces. Reporter Crystal Ruiz is in the studio for this week's edition of Positively Nights.
Thank you, guys. That's right. Friday is finally here, and if that's not enough to brighten your afternoon, we've got some stories that should do the job. Not only is today Friday, it's also World Smile Day. There's plenty of things to smile about, but there's a four-legged knight who has the biggest smile. This is reporter Brianna Volz's pup, Bean. For the record, he smiles on most days, not just today, World Smile Day. Show us your smile by tweeting us. Use the hashtag World Smile Day UCF and find us at UCF Nightly News. The UCF Police Department is teaming up with the homecoming staff to offer cash cabs SEPS style throughout next week. SEPS is a program offered by UCF PD to offer free escort service for students. Knights will have the opportunity to earn some homecoming swag during their ride. And if you walked by the CFE Arena recently, you may have noticed some new artwork on the wall. This is a mural by Kevin Thomas. It will hang tall for all to see. We can't wait to see the final product. And October is here, and October marks the start of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The Orlando Fire Department is showing their support by unveiling a special truck. Be sure to give them a wave as you see the pink truck on the streets of Orlando this month. And now, today, Panera Bread is going pink. 100% of the proceeds from every pink ribbon bagel sold today will be donated to the Orlando Health UF Health Cancer Center. You can pre-order online today. Well, that's all we have for today, Knights. The weekend is here. Let's make it a good one. Back to you guys at the desk.
After the break, find out if you'll need your rain jacket this weekend.
Plus, Nightly News takes you inside the scariest event of the year. How one UCF alum is involved in creating thousands of screams. October is here, which means Halloween is getting closer. Halloween Horror Nights and a UCF alum are bringing some terrifying movie characters to life. Nightly News reporter Anna Espinosa brings us behind the scenes of the anticipated event.
Halloween Horror Nights is back for the 27th year. Several minds come together every year to bring the event to life. One of those people is the show director for creative development, Charles Gray. As a UCF alum, he says he used what he learned as a student to further his career.
I am living out what I'm studying and applying it. So it made a lot of sense. It wasn't just something I was studying, not really knowing how to apply it in life. So it's great.
Gray helps come up with the ideas for the 9 houses that keeps guests coming back. Philip Adams says he can't get enough of the event.
We've been going for probably 10 plus.
Horror Nights takes over the park when the sun sets with houses from famous horror movies. The Shining, Saw, and The Purge are some of the featured movies that come to life,
including scare zones like this one from the movie Trick or Treat from 2008.
Adams says the changes from year to year are one of the many things that keeps him coming back.
Just the ambiance, the environment, I love the walking through all the scare zones, the haunted houses, the stage, the set design.
Gray says some of the details that complete the event take more than a year to plan. In Orlando, Anna Espinosa, UCF Nightly News.
The last day to experience the terrifying event is November 4th. There was a lot of rain this week, Dienelis, but I noticed that there was a little bit of fall temperature in the air. Can we expect more of that in the next few days?
Yeah, it's starting to feel somewhat like fall here in Central Florida, but don't bring those sweaters out yet because temperatures are still high. So let's take a look at the high temperatures throughout the state. We have Tallahassee with 87 degrees, Jacksonville 86, Tampa 88, Orlando with 90 degrees, and Miami with 86. Now let's take a look at the lows. We have Tallahassee with 75, Jacksonville with 75 as well, Tampa 77, Orlando 76, and Miami 81. Now let's take a look at our 5-day weather forecast. We have Saturday 90 degrees and 77 the lows with 60% chance of rain. We have Sunday 91 degrees and 77 degrees with 60% chance of rain. And throughout the week, we're going to have 90s and 80s with a 30 and 20% chance of rain. That's all for weather today. Back to you guys.
In sports, we take you to the soccer pitch to see how the men's team fared this week.
Plus, the basketball teams are starting to prepare for their seasons. More on what the coach has to say about the men's basketball team when we return.
What's up, Knights? I'm Brianna Voles, and here's a quick look at what's happening in sports this week. The latest AP poll ranks our UCF Knights 25th in the nation. This comes after a dominating win last Saturday against the Memphis Tigers. The big conference win grabbed some national attention, and the Knights found themselves ranked for the first time since 2013 when UCF ended the season with a victory against Baylor in the Fiesta Bowl. But Coach Scott Frost doesn't want players feeling satisfied just yet.
We haven't done anything yet in his eyes, so we're walking with a little more confidence, and we're excited about being ranked. But I don't think that means anything to a lot of guys on the team if we don't finish the season how we want to finish it.
Tomorrow, the Knights will face off in another conference showdown against the Cincinnati Bearcats. The team is looking to keep one of the nation's most explosive running games against Cincinnati. Adrian Killens, who had the longest rushing touchdown in team history last week, will be looking to help keep the Knights undefeated. And the losing streak for our men's soccer team is no more. After 3 losses, the Knights earned a win this week against the Stetson Hatters here at home. UCF forward Cal Jennings put on a performance Wednesday. The sophomore scored 2 goals in the first period and an assist in the second. Scoring the third goal of the match and his sixth this season was senior Matias Pizarro. Junior midfielder Ricardo Oliveira scored the last goal, wrapping up the game with a final score of 4-0 UCF. The Knights play at home again Saturday at 7 p.m. as they take on the Memphis Tigers. And something to look forward to, the UCF men's basketball team tipped off practice Monday. The Knights are looking to build on a successful season in which they made a deep run into the NIT tournament. UCF brings back a stacked roster, including junior guard BJ Taylor, senior forward AJ Davis, and junior center Taco Fall. Head coach Johnny Dawkins returns for his second season and says he was pleased with last year, but hopes to see improvement this season.
I told him I'd always tell him the truth, so what we want to accomplish is something special, then we have to be better than we were last year, and that's going to be our goal.
That message seemed to resonate with the players who looked excited to be back on the court. The team's season opener is November 10th as the Knights take on Mercer at CFE Arena. The Knights also face big teams like Alabama, Nebraska, and Wichita State later in the season. You can find the full 2017-2018 schedule online at ucfknights.com. That's it for sports today. Good luck to our Knights tomorrow as they take on Cincinnati in their away game. Back to you, Tiffany and Chris, at the desk.
Thanks, Bree. Obviously, you know I'm a pretty big sports fan, so it's a really good time to be UCF Knight. The football team is killing it. 2-0, 3-0, whatever they are right now. You know, they're going to Cincinnati this weekend. Really excited to see that. I'll probably watch it on TV. You going to try and tune in?
I will. I am going to watch it. I'm excited.
Definitely. The women's soccer team is doing really good. They're ranked 5th in the nation, I believe. So they're going it. The men's team won this week. I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, so ready to see all that and what's in store. So that's all the time we have for right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during our week on our website, nightlynews.ucf.edu.
And if you've got a story idea you want us to know about, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynews@ucf.edu. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
Five of the 6 starters are veterans. They're upperclassmen.